It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling. Your phone says you've been awake for 40 minutes. Your first thought is that something is wrong with you. But the real answer is far stranger. For most of human history, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a disorder. It was the plan. You've been taught that sleep should be one long, unbroken block. 8 hours, lights off, lights on, done. But your ancestors didn't sleep that way. They slept in two parts. Historian A. Roger Kirch spent over a decade combing through diaries, court records, and medical texts from before the industrial age, and he found the same pattern again and again. People went to bed shortly after dark. They slept for a few hours. Then they woke up. Not in a panic. Not reaching for a screen. They just woke up. Kirch called this segmented sleep. First sleep, then an hour or two of quiet wakefulness, then second sleep until morning. During that middle window, people prayed. They talked. They had sex. They visited neighbors. Some got up and tended the fire. It was such a normal part of life that old letters casually mention it, the way you'd mention lunch. So why does this feel so foreign to you now? Why does your brain treat that 3 a.m. gap like an emergency? Because the world changed the shape of your night, and nobody warned your biology. Before artificial light, darkness lasted 12 to 14 hours a night in many parts of the world, especially in winter. No human body was built to lie still for that long in one stretch. Segmented sleep wasn't a flaw. It was a solution. It let the body rest deeply, surface briefly, then rest again, matching a night that was simply too long for one continuous cycle. Then came gas lamps. Then electric light. Then the modern bedroom, sealed off from the sun, lit by whatever glowing rectangle you last checked before closing your eyes. Kirch traces the disappearance of segmented sleep almost directly to the spread of artificial lighting in the late 1800s. Within a generation or two, the two-part night vanished from cultural memory. By the time your grandparents were children, nobody talked about first sleep and second sleep anymore. It had simply been engineered out of existence. But here's the part that should really stop you. Segmented sleep didn't disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because the environment around it changed. Your biology didn't get the memo. This is where the story gets even stranger, because segmented sleep isn't even the oldest pattern we know about. Sleep researcher Jerome Siegel, at UCLA, wanted to know what sleep actually looked like before agriculture, before candles, before any of it. So he studied 3 modern hunter-gatherer societies still living without electricity. The Hadza in Tanzania, the San in Namibia, the Tsimane in Bolivia. What he found challenged almost everything people assumed about natural sleep. These groups didn't sleep in 2 neat blocks either. Their sleep was flexible, loosely tied to temperature more than darkness. People tended to fall asleep several hours after sunset, not immediately, and wake before sunrise, not after. They rarely napped. And strikingly, they almost never reported insomnia as a concept. Not because they slept perfectly, but because they didn't have a rigid expectation of what sleep was supposed to look like. Think about that for a second. The condition millions of people now medicate, worry over, and lie awake fearing, barely existed as an idea for groups living the way humans lived for most of our history. Why? Anthropologist Carol Worthman, who has spent decades studying sleep across cultures, points to something simple but easy to miss. Sleep isn't just biology. It's ecology. It depends on who else is around you, how safe you feel, how much light exists, how warm or cold the air is, whether someone else is awake to share the night with. Strip away the modern bedroom, the locked door, the isolated silence, and sleep starts behaving differently. Less anxious, less rigid, less alone. Your ancestors were almost never sleeping in true isolation. Families shared space. Communities overlapped. Someone was usually stirring nearby. Waking at 3 a.m. didn't mean lying in the dark by yourself, replaying tomorrow's problems. It meant existing inside a slow, shared human rhythm, where someone else might be awake too. Now think about your own bedroom. Silent. Sealed. Just you and the ceiling. That's the twist under the twist. It's not only that your sleep architecture changed. It's that you now do the waking up part completely alone, in a way almost no human before the last 100 years ever did. So what does this mean for you? Lying there at 3 a.m., feeling like something is broken? Probably nothing is broken. Your body might simply be reaching for a rhythm it was never fully allowed to unlearn. A rhythm where the middle of the night wasn't wasted time, but a quiet second shift of consciousness, meant for something other than sleep. Prayer, conversation, watching the fire, just existing. Modern sleep medicine calls this sleep maintenance insomnia and treats it as a problem to eliminate. But Kirch's historical research suggests something gentler. Waking briefly at night may not be a malfunction at all. It may be the oldest, most normal thing your brain still remembers how to do, even after everything around it changed. That doesn't mean chronic sleep loss is fine, or that everyone struggling at night is simply doing it right. Real insomnia, driven by stress, light exposure, anxiety, or illness, is a genuine problem worth taking seriously. But the panic itself, the fear that wakes you up further the moment you notice you're awake, that part might be newer than you think. That part might be cultural, not biological. Which raises an uncomfortable question. How much of your nightly stress is your body? And how much of it is simply the story you were told about what a normal night should look like? Because for most of human history, nobody expected an unbroken 8 hours. Nobody lay there calculating lost minutes against tomorrow's schedule. The night had room in it. Room for waking. Room for stillness. Room for being human without needing to immediately explain it. So the next time you open your eyes at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, feeling like your body has betrayed you, remember what the fire tenders knew, what the Hodzes still live, what centuries of diaries quietly recorded before anyone thought to call it a disorder. It's 3 a.m. Your ancestors are awake too, somewhere in you. And for once, that isn't something to fear.